Vagina.
Ah. Welcome back to BS Movie Reviews, Part 3.
Hi.
Teeth. Alright, so where are we in this movie? The doctor just got his fingers bitten off.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, she ran out. She's gone. Where is she going again?
She is going somewhere. She's going home. And actually, I think this is where that dude picks her up. And then she decides, I think, to fuck him. And so, we don't know this dude, by the way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so they go out to his place and they're having sex. And it's like, I guess she figured out she can control this thing without, as long as she doesn't squeeze, it doesn't bite. So she's sitting there.
But then she starts
having
going
sex.
mad with power, if you ask me.
Well, just wait. This is why she started going mad with power.
It's a little ridiculous, though.
Yeah, well, okay, so
Like, come
anyways,
on.
they're having sex, and the guy's loving it, she's loving it, and all of a sudden Buddy's phone rings, and he's like, oh, hold on, grabs the phone and answers it, and she's like, what the fuck, you answering your phone while we're doing this? And then Buddy's like, yeah, I'm doing it right now, man. Here, hold on. And she's like, what? And he's like, say something, and she's like, no. And he's like, did you hear that? And then she, like, hangs up the phone, and she's like, what was that about? And he was like, oh, I bet this guy at the gym that I couldn't fuck you or something within, or whatever, hey? And she's like, so you made a bet on me when I was, like, pure or whatever?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, come on, it wasn't that serious, was it, baby?
Yeah.
And then she's just like,
Yeah.
just bit him, hey? He's like, oh!
Pretty much.
And then she stands up, and that's when she's just, like, standing there looking at him, and then just drops it just right to the floor.
Just
and it's
drops a fucking load.
like, yeah.
It was nasty.
A penis load out of the vagina.
Penis load out
Don't
of
get
it.
to see that.
No, you don't. And,
So-
and then I think what happens after that is, what the hell did her brother have to do with it? Oh yeah, she comes home and her mom's, like, dying.
Yeah.
And the dad, her brother's just in his bedroom fucking his girlfriend with the door open, and he told his girlfriend, don't even worry about it. She does it all the time.
She does it all the time. She's on medication, blah, 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 blah. But this time she, like, died.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything,
And then the dad gets in a fight with him and wants him to leave.
yeah, tells him
And
to get kicked, or he's going to kick him out, but they end
That's
up
what-
having a fight. And
That's when he opens up the dog.
the
kennel.
dog's cage, yeah. He's
The-
like, get him, killer!
Yeah, and the dog jumps on top of him, and then he's like, son, please.
Yeah, the dog
Please,
ends
son.
up biting the dad, like, right in the neck.
Yeah, he's
So
like,
the dad's got a big bite.
he's like, son. But, like, if it was me, I'd just grab the dog and choke it. I wouldn't be afraid of the dog. Like, I would be, but I'd be like, okay, well, it can bite me, but before it does, I'm gonna fucking grab it, even though it's probably trained to just fucking eat you as soon as it fucking sees you flinch.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I'd play dead.
I'd be like, no! Like, please? The dog would be like, bro, but as soon as the thing is I'd keep my arm up,
Mhm.
so that if it did bite, it would bite here first. Because
Oh, yeah.
it would go for your throat, and then I'd flip it around. And yeah, I'd still live, so fuck it.
Yeah, fuck you.
Fuck the dog. But
No
anyways,
pain, no gain.
so he like gets that's when we find out, oh, Dad, I'm in love with my sister, and his dad's like, yeah, it's okay, son. Nothing. He's just like, and so,
Yeah, this is where the kid's like, I loved her, man. How could you do this to me? Blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so they're all at the hospital. The mom's at the hospital, the dad's at the hospital getting his bite taken care of and checking on his wife. And
That's right.
the boyfriend's girlfriend's there, Melanie. And then, what's the girl's name? Dawn?
Absolutely.
Dawn comes to the hospital and comes to see what's going on, and that's when Melanie's like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I wanted to help, but your brother said she does it all the time, not to worry about it, so, like, you just left it. And
Yeah.
so Dawn got all pissed off at Brad and was like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
she's
get
like,
him.
no.
And, like, throughout the movie, Brad is, like, always making comments on fucking her. And
Yeah,
all this shit.
he's like, come sit your sweet little ass down here.
Yeah,
He's
so
like, "Ugh, yeah."
she knows he likes her, so she goes to the house and walks into the bedroom and, like, starts coming on to him and stuff, and he's, like, not understanding it. So then, they go to fuck.
No, he basically, he's not sure at first. He's like, this is weird.
Yeah,
And-
he's like, this is fucking weird.
And then he kind of just tries to bend her over, and she's like,
yeah,
no.
well, yeah, that's what happened, eh? He
Yeah.
just, like, grabbed her, flipped her over, and he's like, hey, if we're doing it,
And
we're
she
doing
dre-
it like
I
this.
noticed the weird thing that really weirded me out is because she was always like a virgin before that, how she dressed all innocent for it. It was just kind of really weird.
Yeah.
And then, so then it kind of doesn't, you don't really hear much, it's kind of silent for a bit, and then you just kind of see him.
Yeah, well,
like,
what happens
whoa.
is she stops him. She doesn't want to do it from behind. I don't know if she can't bite as good or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, no, no. And then she flips over and he's on top of her. And then he's like getting ready to stick it in her. And I don't know. He starts having like, he's thinking, but once it's in her, he's thinking and she's just staring at him. And I think it like clues into him what happened as
Yeah,
a
that's
kid.
right.
It goes way back. He's like, whoa, I wait. I remember trying to stick something in here. And then all of a sudden, she bit it off.
Yeah, and this is the sickest part of the movie.
His face is just like going red.
Yeah.
He's like, and then he's like, he gets up and there's no dick.
And she gets up and drops it out of her garage, and she walks into the room. He's like, "Don't leave
Yeah,
me
he's
here."
got a big piercing and he's like,
Yeah,
curious,
there's a piercing in his dick, and it's laying on the floor. And then guess what happens?
His puppy comes and grabs it.
And he chews it up and eats it and spits
the
tip out with the ring.
The first he's just the dog
so
sitting there
brutal.
holding it in his mouth, and the guy with no dick is like, and then the dog just.
Yeah.
And then, drops the head with the piercing just there and just walks off, and he's just sitting there.
Oh, man. Just thinking about it, I hate it. I can't imagine what that would be like.
Doesn't she say something after all that?
I don't think so.
Dude, she doesn't say, like...
She just gets up and walks out. Doesn't say anything. She's like, there. She's like, you fucked me.
No, there you go.
And now you're fucked.
Now you're fucked.
And now here's the point where everybody fell.
Now you're dickless. Dickless Brad.
This was the disturbing point to a lot of the girls that were in the room when we watched this movie. She decides she's gonna run away or something, I think is the point at the end of the movie, and she
she decides
starts hitching
she's just
rides.
gonna run away, and she's standing on the side of the road trying to catch a ride, and some car pulls up, and she hops in, and it takes off. And then they just drive off, and then they...
Into the night.
Into the night, yes. And then they pull off at this, like, abandoned... If it's not abandoned, it's just a closed gas station, but, like, no one's there, and it's dark. And they just pull up there, and then it shows her, like, kind of waking up, going, where are we? And she looks over, and then there's an old man sitting there smiling at her. And she goes, she kind of was like, whatever. She goes to open the door, and he locks it. And she looks at him, and he's just sitting there, and he goes like this. And then she's like, what? And he unlocks the door, and then she goes to open the door, and he locks it again. And then she looks back, and he's sitting there, he's just still sitting there smiling with his tongue out. He's like, and then she's like, okay, this
That's
is
exactly
enough.
what he looked like. That whole impression I just did, that's exactly what he was doing.
So, anyways, she's like, hey, this is enough. So he unlocks it, and she goes to open it really quick, faster, and he locks it again, and then unlocks it and locks it again. And then she just stops and kind of just takes a deep breath, and then looks at the camera and smiles, and then looks over at him, and that's the end of the movie. Credits start to roll, and we know what happened to that old man. Poor, dirty old man. When I'm an old man, I'm definitely checking for teeth when I go to
that movie makes me fear the pussy.
lock little girls in my car.
But okay,
I'm gonna give this movie. I think I'm gonna give it a 9 teeth out of 10.
19 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a. I think what I'm gonna do is actually that's funny because I was gonna say 9 too. I'm gonna give it 9.
It was a good movie, good storyline.
I'm gonna give it 9 pussies full of teeth out of 10.
9 pussies full of teeth.
Pusses full of teeth. I want to get that clear. I didn't say pussies. I said pusses full of teeth. Pusses.
Meaning your mouth.
Yes.
Just like fag means cigarette butt.
Yeah. And fag means you. Burn on you. You can't even say anything because I can't hear you.
We'll see about that, eh?
Yeah, we'll get some comments on here, I hope. Whatever. I don't even care if you hate me. Chances are I could probably just...
So do you think they're going to do a Teeth 2?
No.
No?
No.
A remake of Teeth?
Bye.